Hello friends and welcome once again to these video classes. And in this class, let us discuss something about understanding why communication matters. Understanding why communication matters. In the last video, if you recall, I was speaking to you about powerful communication and powerless communication. And I told you that communication is not always about powerful communication. Even powerless communication, if it is sincere, is also equally of great value. We come across different kinds of people in this world of communication. The first ones, I would call them as pure talkers. These are the people who talk a lot. That means they have plenty to talk. Pure talkers they are. At the same time, they have very little patience to listen to others. Only talk because they are a little insecure, mm, because they think that others may contradict them, others might challenge them, and that's why they do not allow others to talk. Especially, we come across some teachers who like to go on talking in the class, but they may not appreciate any questions because they are afraid to be challenged. Similarly, when somebody gives a presentation to a great audience, the person may not appreciate any questions from the audience because he or she thinks that asking questions may lead to controversies, or let's say asking questions may lead to humiliation. These are the people who don't like to take any risk. So they are them I call as pure talkers. There are moderate talkers. Who are these moderate talkers? Moderate talkers are those who talk, but they listen also. Sometimes they do listen. Of course, they talk more and listen less. And what do they listen? They listen mostly that which is advantageous to them, that which is helpful to them, that which helps them to boost their career maybe. So such things they may be happy to listen. We always like to listen when somebody speaks good about us. Such things people may like to listen, these moderate talkers. But otherwise, they also may like to talk a lot rather than listen. But the third ones, whom I call as listeners, these are genuine listeners. They listen well, and they talk less. Not that they do not talk, they talk at the same time, they listen, and in fact, they listen more than they talk. And I think we must grow to be these third type of people. We must grow to be listeners first before talking. I repeat, we must grow to be first listeners and then talkers. Once you develop to be a good listener, mind you, once you develop to be a good listener, automatically you would also develop and grow to be a good communicator. Maybe let me give you an example. Let's say you are facing an interview and you're already tensed and stressed because you do not know what to expect during the interview. And when you go there, if you are not a natural listener, it is possible that you mess up the interview. It is quite possible that you mess up the interview because in your anxiety, in your in that tension, you may not be actually listening to what the interviewer is asking you. He may be asking you one thing and you may be giving him a totally different answer. Okay. And at such moment, even while you have your anxiety and stress levels which are very high, if you listen carefully, it is possible that you may respond well. Even let's say if you do not respond well or if you do not know the answer, even if you were to say that you do not know the answer, I think the interviewer at least would understand. Of course, it may have its own consequences. Maybe you will lose an opportunity. It is also possible that you may you may not get the job, but there is always a next time, and you can surely take up the opportunity next time, and perhaps prepare well, and come out with flying colors. So one of the most sincere forms of respect is actually listening to what another has to say. As this quote by Brand H. McGill would say, listening with respect is a core dimension of any good communication. Let me come to this very important idea of confidence and overconfidence. All of us know that for communication, we need to be very confident. When we have confidence, automatically you do well in your communication. But there is always a danger to be overconfident. Okay, so confidence is absolutely necessary for good communication. But overconfidence can hamper your communication. Overconfidence can affect the right communication that you want to do. And that's why, once again, I repeat, it is important to be confident, but not overconfident. Now, what differentiation shall we make between confidence and overconfidence? Sometimes there is a thin line between the two. Okay, what is confident and what is overconfident? There's a thin line between the two, but there is a difference between confidence and overconfidence. Confident people believe that they can do a task, be it communicating with the other, or let's say doing a job well. So they have the confidence that they can do a task. They believe in themselves. But overconfident people are those who believe, genuinely they believe that they are the only ones who can do that job, not others. And if somebody else were to do the same job, would either criticize them or they would react back. So this is the meaning of overconfidence. They think that only they can do the job. The second difference is that the confident people know their limitations. They know that they need to improve constantly. They need to grow constantly. There is always room for improvement with regard to confident people. While overconfident people think that they are perfect, they have nothing more to learn. They have nothing more to grow. They have already done all growing and becoming perfect. So that's a clear sign of overconfidence. And the third distinction, if I were to make between confidence and overconfidence, is confident people grow to be good leaders. They may not have best of communication skills. They may not have best of administrative skills. And yet, confident people will become good leaders. What about overconfident people? At times, they also may become leaders. But I think they become more managers than leaders. And there's a danger of overconfident people becoming narcissistic. So narcissism is a concept where you are concerned more about yourself. You are concerned more about your own growth, your own self-glory. So there is a danger for overconfident people to become more and more narcissistic. This is the difference between confidence and overconfidence. We now speak a little bit about maintaining eye contact, how eye contact is very, very essential for any good communication. Many times we have this problem of maintaining eye contact with those people whom we speak to. But without genuine eye contact, you cannot really communicate because eyes are the mirrors, they say, of the heart. Whatever is going on in your heart can be reflected in your eye. Maintaining the eye contact, you almost get into the heart of the other person. So do not avoid keeping a good balanced eye contact. When I say eye contact, I mean eye contact, not staring at others. We do not stare at others while doing communication, but we look at others with different emotions, maybe with compassion. It could even be with certain, let's say, genuine interest in the other person, whatever it is, but positive emotions. With positive emotions, we look at the eyes of the other. And most importantly, when you have a good communication, it is important to look at everybody. Otherwise, what happens? You look at only one person, the person may get confused as to why this person is looking at me. So look at everybody in that group. Similarly, let's say if you are addressing a large audience, it is good to kind of, let's say, pan your eye contact to the entire hall, looking at everybody. Okay, this helps in connecting with people and doing a very, very interesting communication with the other. So eye contact is absolutely essential for any good communication. All of us know the purpose of good communication. It is basically to connect with the others and also for career enhancement and other things. Many times we think communication is basically, or good communication is basically resolve conflict. Yes, resolve conflicts, you require good communication. But communication is also to build relationships, to connect with people and grow together. If you want to be individualistic, you may require, let's say, different kind of communication that only helps you. But if you want to grow in relationships, even in your place of work, it is essential to have the right kind of communication. The type of people that I spoke about, the listeners, if you have that sort of a communication, it is possible to grow in relationships in your workplace. So let's summarize as to what I was trying to tell you in this video. I was speaking to you about three kinds of people we come across in this process of communication. First ones are the pure talkers. They talk a lot. They are insecure when people challenge them. Second type of people are those who are moderate talkers. They talk, but they listen also, but they talk more and listen less. But genuine listeners are those people who make an attempt to listen more and talk less, and thus become very, very effective communicators. I was making a distinction between confidence and overconfidence. Confident people are those people who know about themselves and their limitations, and they know that they have to grow still. Whereas overconfident people, they think they are perfect and they do not have anything more to learn, and thus they become more and more narcissistic. Let me also tell you this. Any good communication is a process. It's a journey, which means the process is as important or equally important as the product. Of course, the ultimate aim of communication is to reach towards that product, reach towards that destiny. But why not make this journey itself as the destiny? The journey itself as the destiny. Or let's say, why not make the process itself as the product? Because there is so much to learn from the whole process. The communication or good communication is basically a process. So we must make this process and this journey as an important element for us to learn many things. And it is only through this constant learning in this journey, in this process, that we truly become good communicators. So become confident communicators, keeping in mind that you have miles to go before you sleep. See you in the next video.